Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I thought I would make this video to share my personal experience of the London to Brighton cycle ride. Anything from what I took with me to event rules and guidelines and how it all came together on the big day. So let's get started. I currently ride a gravel bike, which is basically a road bike with thicker tyres to withstand some of our wonderful British potholes. The bike has no suspension, but the trade-off is that you gain a little bit more speed. I will also share all my Strava stats at the end for anyone who is interested. We did the cycle ride with Skyline Events, who sent us a starter pack with 2 rider numbers, some safety pins and cable ties. One rider number was fixed to the back of your jersey with safety pins and the other one was fixed to your handlebars with cable ties. Or if you're like me, to a handlebar bag, which is like this. Skyline Events also send you numerous reminder emails with health and safety information, but the main one to note is that you must wear a bike helmet. And this is my bike helmet. So in terms of clothing, I had my jersey, my padded shorts, leg warmers, and I did not wear cleats. It's more of a preference as I am quite clumsy, so the thought of me being attached to my bike is quite a scary thought. I also had a padded seat cover as well, so doubling up on padding is the best thing ever. And this actually worked. Some people don't like that it sort of slides around a little bit when you're cycling. I do not care. No saddle sore after 60 miles of cycling. I could walk fine. I also had attached to my handlebars a handlebar bag. So I had this multi-tool, super useful for any sort of wobbly bits that you might have on your bike. A tyre lever in case you get a puncture. You're gonna need this. A spare inner tube, so just make sure that it's the right size for your tyre. A mini bike pump for said inner tube. Oh, and here are the snacks. Once we got to the first checkpoint, I actually took my leg warmers off, so I had to eat my snacks and then stuff my leg warmers into my handlebar bag because it did get really warm later on during the day, but I will talk more about that later on in the video. I also had a water bottle cage which I fitted prior to the cycle. These cost like £3 on Halfords, super easy to install and they can hold your water bottle super easy. And of course, the bike helmet. I know I've shown it off already, but you will not be able to cycle without one. So our cycle start time was 9:30 and I did it with my husband and a really good friend of ours, so we did it in a group of 3. We met up with our friend in Clapham Common, which is where the ride started, but my husband and I actually stayed in Brighton the night before because we didn't want to worry about transport after a very physical day. However, Skyline Events do offer a transport service after the event if you need it. Starting in Brighton did mean getting up really early to catch the train to London, which I do not recommend as the train service wasn't very happy with being overrun by a gazillion bikes. So if you have the opportunity to stay in London the night before, I really recommend it. The morning was also super cold in our cycling gear. It was a 5 AM start and we didn't take any rucksacks to try and keep weight to a minimum. So if you don't like the cold or early starts, stay in London the night before. Once we got started on our adventure, I realised we probably didn't need Strava as there were so many people on the route. So it's always handy to have the route on you just in case, but I would save your phone battery and just follow the other people. Carshalton was where the real fun began. It was our first proper hill, and although I conquered this one, I really did start to feel the burn. The first stop I don't remember very well, and I think that's because we made an executive decision as a group to carry on for a further 4 miles to the second stop, which had a water point. The first stop was at Chipstead at 13 miles, and Skyline events give you a list of checkpoints and times you need to arrive by in order to make it to the end within a specified time. So our second stop was at Crossways Gardens at 17 miles, and it was more than welcome. At this point we had done quite a few hills, so we really wanted to just have snacks. We had about 10 minutes at this stop before we decided to head off and continue on our journey. At Crossways Gardens there were some portaloos, a drinking point and snacks. So some of the snacks included bananas, oranges and nutrition bars. We were still in good spirits at this point and having a lot of fun. The following stop was at 29 miles at a place called Rofant, but we didn't actually stop here because the run up to the snack point was uphill and none of us were in the mood for that at that point. There were always loads of people to guide you along the route, so we always felt well looked after and the communication was brilliant. Between 29 and 39 miles, I just knuckled down and grilled through this section. I really sort of just came into my own zone. I didn't really speak to anyone. I just sort of wanted to get through. The next stop was called Lindfield at 39 miles, and you can see we were feeling the burn at this stage. I'll post a picture of my friend who really sums it up for us. And then we got to a London to Brighton icon, Ditchling Beacon. I've heard some people switch the first letters around, which may be a more accurate depiction. So naively, I started cycling, but that came to an end in about 90 seconds. Along Ditchling Beacon, there were lots of motivating signs, like "Ain't no mountain high enough." Well, luckily, it ain't a mountain, and I walked the rest. I was the first to stop in my group. My husband claims he almost made it to the top, but anywhere around the corner would have been believable. I saw very few people, if any, make it to the top in one push. I did not need to tick that one off my bucket list, and I have made peace with that. Once we made it to the top, the Ditchling summit at 48 miles, we were exhausted. I was very distracted by the view, so I couldn't tell you whether there were any portaloos, but I do know there was a water point because it says it on the checkpoint list. From the beacon to the end was my favourite part of the journey. It was all downhill for a start, so we got really fast and it was just super exciting to get close to the end. I was having the best time. Once we turned onto the seafront and we saw the finish line, I just couldn't have been more proud of our group. Once we crossed the finish line, we received our beautiful medals. And there we go. I'll bring that up close for you to see. And we then took a few proud, hot and sweaty photos. At the end, we were also given a picnic meal, so my packed lunch had a sausage roll, a lentil burrito, a banana, a packet of crisps, and an orange. There was definitely also a vegan option available. We also received some free t-shirts, some tote bags, and other random bits and bobs. We then proceeded to order another meal, aka McDonald's, because we could have eaten for king and country at that point. Defo not in our usual camping spirit, but we were knackered. Thanks again everyone for watching this video. I really hope this has cleared up any questions you might have had about the London to Brighton cycle ride. It was truly an incredible experience and I highly recommend it to anyone looking for a fun yet physical challenge.